Welcome to Construct Tech TV. This week we're going to take you from Gatlinburg to San Diego as we uncover the top tech trends in construction. This week we're going to look at your connected office, rebuilding Gatlinburg, a Hyperloop capsule, the project of the week, and building the wall. Now there's a lot to talk about there, so let's start today in your office. We often talk about the job site. So let's paint a picture of what the connected office is actually going to look like in the future. I think it's pretty exciting. So what if I told you you will soon have virtual assistants? Now, how many of you ever really think about that? Now, I know I want a virtual assistant right here, but I'm sure you could also use a few of those in your office for all of the workflows that you need to have improved. So many companies are looking to address this. Now, one example is Xerox. And I love what Xerox is doing because it's looking to turn printing devices into connected workplace assistants. Now, just think about that visual for a minute, because in this case, the devices can print drawings for construction. So if you really look at that, the opportunities are truly endless. I envision virtual assistants ordering all kinds of materials automatically. They will tell you and workers where they need to be, even when they need to be there. They will help automate all kinds of processes. The data already exists in your systems. But the real question is, are you ready to get connected in your office? Do you recall hearing about the Gatlinburg, Tennessee fires? Last November, more than 2,400 structured homes were damaged. Now the town is rebuilding. Manufactured and modular homes have come to the city's aid. These specialized homes are helping to rebuild communities in times of need quicker than ever before. Just look at what happened to Sandra and Trevor Cates. The fire took their home. Clayton Homes was able to deliver a manufactured home in less than 2 months. Manufactured homes are built in a controlled factory environment and then are transported to the site. The Manufactured Housing Institute says the overall number of homes shipped was up by 15% in 2016. It's nice to see Gatlinburg leveraging this home building method to help them rise from the ashes. From homes in Gatlinburg to transportation in France, our next tech trend is the Hyperloop. Hyperloop Transportation Technologies was founded in 2013 from a crowdsourcing incubator. The concept is to improve inner-city transportation. Now, for those of you who are wondering, the high-speed transportation system first came about by Elon Musk, who envisioned making public transit safe and fast. And the idea is really a wonderful one. 3 years later, thousands of hours of research, the first capsule is actually here. So how cool is that? However, the high-speed system isn't really just here yet. But the good news, though, is we are getting a sneak peek. The official reveal will be here early in 2018 at the R&D Center in France. The real question, though, is, are you ready to ride the Hyperloop? Today's project comes from Greensboro, North Carolina. It is the new home for the BB&T Leadership Institute. So let's take a look inside. The structure will provide leadership development programs. It is a 58,000 square foot project. It will include meeting spaces and guest rooms. Gotta love the wooded setting and the comfortable environment. The structure will leverage face-to-face and virtual sessions. This fits with the theme of the program, creating the next generation of effective leaders. The Institute is currently under construction, and plans are to open in early 2018. Next up, San Diego and the wall. Yes, that wall. There has been a lot of conversation and even debate about the government's proposed border wall. But I'm mostly interested in how it's going to be built. One company is hoping to bring some patent-pending technology to the project. Single Eagle, which does business as Concrete General Contractors Interstate, has submitted an RFI on the design of the wall. It is proposing using its Icon Wall solution to this project. The bid specifically addresses how it can help build the controversial wall. An Icon Wall uses a horizontal cast method. and it can be created on site. It uses concrete to connect the tilt-up panel to the footing. It also offers some pretty nice aesthetics for both sides. This is actually one of a number of companies expected to bid on the project. Time will tell who wins the bids for the most talked about wall in the hall of all your companies. That's your tech update for today. The construction industry's worker pool is actually shrinking. We know that the baby boomers are gearing up for retirement. Young people aren't entering the workforce. So why? There are actually a number of reasons. So here to talk to me about it is Laura Black, who's the editor of ConstructTech. We've got Dan Feigl, who's the associate editor. So Laura, Dan, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
So now we've talked about this at the magazine, I don't know how many times, why this is happening. We know that there are 324,000 less workers in construction than before the Great Depression in, I'd say, the late 2000s. So why do we think there are less workers, Laura, do you think, that we have right now in construction?
Yeah, well, I definitely think, after the recession, as you mentioned, a lot of people left the workforce. A lot of people went to other industries, and they're just not coming back in the numbers that, they were prior. And I think a big reason for that is the safety aspect. I think a big reason for that is, a lot of construction professionals don't view the industry as being innovative. They view it as being unsafe. And so I think that message really needs to get out there, that it's really a great industry to work in, that, there are all these new technologies that are coming that are really helping make it a safer work environment.
I think there's a problem we talk about, that too many millennials think it's still a lot of grunt work, right? We talk about that, and it's not. We need to show that they're a leadership position, right? We have to show that the industry's better. What do you think? Are we doing right things to get people to understand that there's a lot of exciting technology, Dan? What do you think about that?
Well, at the current point, no. If you look at like high schools nowadays, they don't have like shop class anymore, which was always kind of a big door opener for people looking to get into construction. And so I think a big part of that is changing the perception of going into the construction industry. Is kind of in the past seen for people who weren't fit for college or anything like that, and nowadays they kind of say that if it's not a desk job, then it's not a good job. But I mean, as we can tell on this TV show, we talk about a lot of things and how technology is taking over construction, and that is just another selling point why people should be entering.
So do we have to show that there's a career path, that it's not such a taxing profession, that there are a lot of opportunities ahead? Is that that there's a lot of great training things that can be done? Are those the things that we need to guide and show the path for construction?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. And I think there are a lot of construction companies out there who are starting to do this, who are really looking to get that messaging out there, that that they have these technologies and they have these methods that are safer and more innovative. And I think we're starting to see that, but I think there's definitely more that needs to be done.
How about promoting women in technology? It's something that we do when we do the Women in Technology awards that we do. I know that there are only about 9.1% women in technology. Are we doing enough to really drive that, Laura? What do you think we have to do there?
Yeah, absolutely. And as we've been doing our research for Women in Construction, as you mentioned, we came across some numbers that the BLS put out that, similar to what you were saying earlier, women in construction have been leaving the industry. There was growth between 1985 and 2010. So we saw some pretty steady growth there, but then after that point, the numbers started really dropping and declining, and I think a big part of that is what we've been talking about here. A lot of women view the industry as taxing and unsafe, and we just really need to work together to kind of help shed that negative image, because there really are all these great technologies that can help make construction safer and not quite as taxing.
Do we need more male mentors to help as well? If women are leaving, do we need young millennials to find the inspiration, but to have mentors?
Well, male mentors have always been instrumental in getting people into construction. A lot of fathers would bring their sons to the job site, but I don't think they'd bring their daughters as well. So I think changing that narrative is also very important. And you also look, it's not just about being strong on the job site. It's about being strategic as well, which I think women in the past have proven to be, and I think we need to get that back as well on the job site.
And it's been, you talk about generations there, or bringing daughters to the job site. I mean, we have multi-generational families that bring their daughters and for years, and they've taken over their families' businesses. And I think the other side of this that we need to talk about is technology. I think in order to inspire our next generation at the job sites, we have to lead by having great technology. Laura, what do you think when we talk about this? Because mentoring is a key part of it, but now we have to have the right technological tools. And I think we talk about drones, and we talk about investing in the next virtual reality and all the big things that these millennials need to have at these job sites, or they're not going to compete with the Googles and the Amazons. How do you think that's going to be? And that's how we're going to get women and men to really want to be at these construction companies.
Yeah, technology is absolutely critical to that. I mean, these young millennials are very tech savvy. They have a lot of skills that they can bring to the job site, and it's really marrying the two, like you said. The more seasoned professional and the younger millennial, and bringing them together so the younger millennial can learn more about the trade and how the job gets done, and but then they can also bring that technology with them to the job site and help make it more technology advanced. And I think we're starting to see that already. There are a lot of construction companies that are leveraging this technology and getting this messaging out there, but definitely more in the future will be good.
So if I kind of summarize what we talked about today as our safety zone, the things that it's not only about making sure our sites are safe, because we always talk about we have to have safe sites, and that's what we talked about, safety, but we have to have the best technology. We have to lead by example. We have to inspire so that we know what's going on at our sites, and we have to make sure that everything we do is the most important. So Laura, Dan, thank you for being with us at Safety Zone for today.
Thank you.
I'm here on site at Joeris General Contractors, and this is a company that really does a great job of building trust with its clients. In fact, more than 90% of its customers are repeat business. So I'm so pleased to be here now with Gary Joeris, who's the CEO of Joeris General Contractors. Gary, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Gary, let's talk about the construction industry, more specifically what's happening here in Texas.
Well, Texas is booming right now. There's a lot of opportunity, a lot of work. We've been very fortunate to survive some of the downturns, and Texas seems to be thriving right now. All the different markets, San Antonio, Houston, DFW, Austin, they're all seem to be experiencing a lot of growth, and from that, a lot of construction activity.
What do you think is making your company successful when you look at what you have today?
Probably the biggest factor is just the quality of our people. We strive to hire the best in our industry, whether it is technology, whether it is human resource, whether it's in marketing, estimating, project managers, IT. We really want people that fit into our culture. We've got a sort of a family culture. It's been a challenge maintaining that as we've grown with some 380 people right now, but we've done a pretty good job of maintaining that family culture and not having everybody feel like they're just a number in a
Is there a project or projects you've done over the 50 years that you say you're most proud of, that you've been a part of, that you said, I put my stamp of approval on this and I really take pride in it? Or are they all your babies?
They're all. It's like asking which one of your kids is favorite. I mean, they're all They're all exciting. They've all had their challenges. We've got some bright and exciting opportunity coming up. One of the fun projects that we're just about to break ground on is a $90 million project at Pearl, which is a 12-story office building and a parking garage and another 6-story office building. It's going to be high visibility. We've done a lot of work at Pearl. It's a kind of a landmark in San Antonio. Everybody knows about the Pearl, so that's been very exciting and fun to be a part of that growth. But by the same time, it's been just as fun to be part of the growth of the University of Point Word, all the high school campuses that we've worked on, and UTSA, and work for Bexar County, and the Alamo Stadium. We renovated that project. So there's a lot of projects we're proud of. So it's very fun.
So you've looked at 50 years now. You're celebrating 50 years. What do you see in the next 50 years for the company?
Right now, we have been going through for the last 15 years, sort of a transition into ownership of the next generation. We started this about 15 or 16 years ago, where we've got a stock program in place, and so a lot of the key employees are buying my shares, and so that transition
is occurring right now.
There's a lot of exciting stuff, the technology and the exciting things that are happening fast and furious in our industry. We're seeing a lot more technologies and building information modeling, BIM, and virtual technology, lean technology, innovative new estimating tools. And we just want to strive to keep getting better at what we're doing. And part of what's helped us grow is that we're more of a relationship contractor, not a transactional contractor. So it's a constant working to build those relationships and just spreading out and get to know more people in the community. And this is a growing community, so it's an ongoing program to market the company. And
well, I'll tell you, Gary, it's been exciting talking with you today. I hope you enjoyed sharing what you've been doing with yours, because we've really enjoyed talking with you.
Thanks for that.
Thanks for joining us. That's someone you should know.
This segment is sponsored by OnCenter Software.
Estimating technology is changing. So with it is the estimator. Here to tell us all about it is Kyle Hammer, the Vice President of Marketing for OnCenter Software. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Hey, Peggy. Thanks for having me.
So Kyle, let's talk about the estimator these days. What's really going on with the estimator?
Peggy, for the estimator, there have been tremendous changes in technology as well as workloads over the last 5 to 10 years. In the economic downturn, many estimators found themselves looking for work or overworked to the point where they were leveraging other technologies. As we came out of the economic downturn and things started to pick up, more and more estimators have come on board to companies. But one of the biggest challenges that they're facing today is how to take the intellectual property of the business and pass it on down to the next generation of estimators.
So how is that role actually changing? Are they doing different things with the technology? Are they changing their skills? How would you describe that?
I would say that the estimators being asked to do more today than they were asked to do 10 years ago. For a lot of organizations, the estimator was the magic behind the sale, right? And more what we're seeing is with the skilled labor shortage, estimators are being asked to project manage. They're asked to make sure that the estimators are asked to project manage. They're spending more time in the actual details in implementing the work or getting the jobs built post the bid being awarded than they were, say, 10 years ago. And as this responsibility increases, there are more and more opportunities for errors and mistakes or omissions, things that they're missing to creep into their workflow.
So because of that, there's a lot of things that estimators can do differently. So what advice would you give today's estimator versus what they did years ago?
So I think there's two big things that the estimator today needs to be worried about and to think about, actually. The first thing that they need to be aware of is that there's another generation of estimator coming. Now, that doesn't mean that the estimator today who's been doing this for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, that knowledge is invaluable. But what it means is that as we begin transitioning to a younger generation of estimators who not only see the world in a 2D manner, but also see the world in a 3D manner, that there's a lot of intellectual property that the estimators have today that they need to figure out a way to pass along. And so as they start looking at the systems and tools and techniques that they have, the estimators of today need to begin building systems, processes, and leveraging technology to take that software, or not take that software, but to take their business processes that they have today, to take that intellectual property that they have from doing this for, decades, and be able to synthesize it so that somebody can come in without as much experience and still provide a high level of accuracy and still have visibility into the areas where the company might carry some risk for another generation. So that's the first piece. The second piece that estimators need to be aware of is the change of dynamics related to communication with the field. Many, many years ago, it would be the foreman or the super. They would have a stand-up meeting either at the beginning of the week or the beginning of the day. And now with the advancement of technology, the collaboration is happening in real time. And so as that modifies, the estimators need to be able to be agile in the way that they estimate. So they need to be able to have their information and their data sets and their plans right in front of them so that they can make modifications quickly, simply, and be able to augment the job as they go so that it doesn't hold up production.
Well, it's interesting what you just described is, one, we can narrow that skills gap by passing down this years of knowledge, which is one, what you described, and two, the ability to collaborate. So you just described two very powerful weapons or tools that we can share with the estimators that they might not realize that they're able to do, that is a powerful thing for the new millennials, right?
That is true. I mean, as more and more construction companies, I was at a conference several weeks ago, and one of the guys got up and spoke and said, one of the challenges that the difference between the boomers and the millennials is the fact that the boomers were busy working and created the millennials. And so that they're a byproduct of all of the things they put into place. You want to have a better life than me. Don't grow up and do what I did. And now they're looking at the millennials going, what's wrong with you? And the reality is that millennials just have a different appetite for job environment, for career growth and plan, as well as technology for getting their job done. I don't think there's a millennial that I've met yet that doesn't want to be successful or doesn't have the same desire for excellence in their work output as maybe a boomer would. The big difference is that they understand that there are technologies, there's a way to pass information, there's a way to collaborate that makes it easier for them to get up to speed as opposed to learning through the old hard knocks way.
And it's interesting because this mindset then is different from how a millennial thinks to how a boomer thinks, and technology is changing, and it's probably going to change even faster, exponentially, from the next generation that comes on the job site with the estimator.
Yes, I think that we will see that. I think what you'll see is that as we continue to progress, you'll see a lot more organizations and owners commanding information that goes all the way down into the as-builts. I mean, the as-builts used to be drawings that were rolled up, handed over at the end of a job, and put over in the corner. But as organizations move from bidding and project management and constructing all the way into now facilities management and paying attention to the details of how something was constructed, the information that's there's an entire life cycle of how that building or how that project came together that needs to be passed not only from one construction company to the next, but then onto the owner so that it can be maintained for over the life of the building.
Kyle, thank you for being with us. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Peggy. Have a great day.
Okay, viewers, that's your innovation and technology for today. The use of cameras on the job site has grown in the past decade. The most obvious uses are security and management. Construction companies can see if someone is stealing from the job site after hours and keep a better eye on progress. But that's not enough. The introduction of sensors has allowed cameras to become more versatile than ever before. They can now sense movement and sounds and translate that into useful data. Here to tell us all about it is David Ga, founder and CEO of Sensera. So David, welcome to the show.
Nice to be here.
So let's talk about job site cameras. They've really changed from how we used to use them and what we're using today. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think one of the big differences is we've made them solar powered and wireless, and we've also begun to incorporate sensor capabilities so the camera becomes more intelligent to do a wider range of monitoring and functions at the job site.
Why are construction companies starting to embrace them today? Because, you know, we don't see enough job sites using them, but we're seeing a lot more. How is that happening?
I think there have been two things. We've kind of reached an inflection point in terms of cost and capability of the cameras, simplicity of the cameras. After all, GC's job is to build the site, not to install cameras. So really simplifying that and bringing the cost points down has been a big part of it. General awareness of the value propositions and what the camera brings to you, monitoring the site for the owner, sort of owner transparency, project documentation, site security you mentioned. So there's a wide range of value propositions, and I think the awareness of those value propositions is growing. That combined with the capability and affordability being kind of at an inflection point.
Are we seeing, as you mentioned, the GC, our general contractors are starting to see that if they use cameras, they have visibility into things that happen. As I talked about security, that things that get stolen. And job sites get a lot of things stolen. It can add up to a lot of loss at a site, right?
Absolutely. I think we see GCs using site cameras for prevention. I mean, everybody would just assume that the theft never happened. But if it does happen, it also gives you a tool to find out exactly what happened and to turn that over to authorities. So prevention of loss is a big one, but also just knowing what's going on. Today's site cameras can give you imagery minute to minute or even continuous video recording of everything going on a site. So that's a lot of information that can drive both security but also operations of the build.
David, tell us what you have here. What did you bring to us today?
So this is our newest platform. So one of our goals has been really to drive down the cost. In addition to simplicity and capabilities of the cameras, is really to drive down the cost. So we've done a second generation of our camera platform already, a couple years in. And the goal of this is to bring the cost down while keeping the capability high. So this is an entirely solar-powered camera system, self-contained. There's no other parts, easily mounted by one person. And our first model in this family coming out is the MC26, which is going to be selling for $2,000 for a complete solar-powered camera system. So it's sort of breakthrough in the industry. It obviously is great for us competitively, but really it helps our goal of driving adoption of cameras in the construction industry.
And how's the response been?
It's been tremendous. We have, most of our customers have never used site cameras before when they come to us, and a huge majority of them will now just deploy them standard on every project, even if the owner's not requesting it, even if they didn't budget it beforehand. So part of getting that cost point down is so that the project manager has the flexibility to do what they need when they need it.
So what kind of information are you giving them when you're using solar powered, and what kind of data are they getting out of these kind of cameras?
So these cameras are quite full featured. They have the traditional functions of time lapse, of a webcam or project sharing, but they also have full-time recording on the edge of the camera, so you can go back weeks and retrieve in detail any event, whether it's safety or security. We also have a feature that does rapid snapshots, so you can go back 1 week and see minute by minute in very high resolution what's happening at the job site. Like you said earlier, we're also beginning to incorporate sensors, motion detection sensors, so that the camera becomes kind of the hub of everything real time that's going on at the job site.
Where do we see cameras going? Because this is something right now that we need to take the information that's coming off of cameras and put it into other things that we're doing at the job site. Is that what you're leading up to?
I think so. If you look at some of the trends on the software side of the job site, you know, you have project management is sort of one thing going on. Project documentation it is another. Our system is called Sensera Site Cloud, and it's really aimed at the real-time information coming off the site. That may be from fixed cameras, it may be from drones, it may be from handheld devices or other sensors. And all that real-time information needs to be put into correspondence with each other. And so that's what we see as the goal of our Sensera Site Cloud.
Looking at all of the information that we're gathering from the office to the field, as we say, and to that job site right now, cameras really bring a lot of view to what's happening all the way around.
Right.
And do we see this going to be incorporating into drones and other kind of things? Do you see all that happening?
I do. I see those modalities as complementary, right? Drones giving you imagery once a day or perhaps once a week, aerial. Fixed cameras can give you more views with continuous monitoring. Other sensors are giving you other information, and that can all be put into correspondence. I think one of the roles of analytics or image processing can be to put all of those sensor modalities into correspondence. I even envision in the future we can take the CAD model and overlay imagery that's coming from all these different viewpoints onto the CAD model, and so there now you'll have, I think, really a whole new thing in the as-built documentation of a system.
We see the construction job site changing a lot, and cameras are going to do a lot for that. David, thank you so much for being with us for Got a Tool. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it. That's our Got a Tool for today. SketchUp first emerged as a design tool for anyone to use. The tool was free, it had a simple interface, and it was ideal for beginners to get started with the whole design experience. This made it perfect for anyone who really wanted to learn design. Then in 2006, Google stepped in and acquired the product. But what was really surprising, in 2012, Google sold SketchUp to Trimble. Is it time, though, if you think about it, for you to want to dabble with the design tool? A good place to start is at SketchUp.com. The tutorial helps beginners get started and get a feel for design. It gives tips for more intermediate and advanced modelers to experience design. So for anyone looking to learn more about this and is a good place to get started, go up there right now. That's your Learn It for today. ERP. If you've ever been in the construction industry, as long as I've been reporting on it, you've said this three-letter acronym thousands of times. Do you know what the acronym really stands for? Do you know what it means? Today I'm going to give you a quick history lesson on the term. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, and it has its roots in manufacturing. ERP simply refers to a suite of integrated apps that collect data. In manufacturing, that meant product planning and payments. It was MRP, MRP2, supply chain management, and the list went on and on and on. It was lots of gobbledygook. In construction, it means project management and accounting. 20 years ago, everybody was talking about how to integrate all these processes. It often came in the form of software implementation that was costly and even time-consuming. But the payback was so significant. Flash forward to today with the advent of mobile and cloud, and the game has completely changed forever. ERP simply ain't what it used to be. But the need for integrated apps is still very much a reality in construction and at the job site. The need now extends to what we do in the field and to the life cycle of a project. Does the traditional term still apply? That's the question. Or is ERP gone forever? Or has it evolved into something even more powerful? ERP, that's your word of the day. And thanks for watching Construct Tech TV, where we are talking tech at the job site.